Let's go to Central City, Colorado, which is west of Denver, even west of Golden. And Mike Seidel, let us know what kind of precipitation you've been seeing, and still wondering if you're hearing any cracks of thunder. There are some storms up and down the Front Range.
Yeah, let's first go to the storm. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in the Front Range way down south. In fact, south and southeast of Pueblo, impacting east central Huerfano and northwest Las Animas counties. It's moving northeast 25, warned for hail and wind gusts to 60, but it is moving out over a very rural area. That's a good thing. But get this, where it's about 60 degrees and you're dealing with severe thunderstorms in the Front Range, well, some of you, like in those areas around Pueblo and Colorado Springs, you're under a winter storm warning kicking in tonight at 9 and going through mid-afternoon on Wednesday. Back here, we are already in a winter storm warning, and if you look closely, you'll see some graupel falling on camera. Our temperature right now is a relatively mild 41 degrees. So what we've got is snowflakes mixing up with some supercooled water droplets coming down. We're at about 8,500 feet. You can get graupel in the mountains at this elevation with those temperatures. Eventually, as it chills down later this afternoon, we'll go over to snow. Some of the snow could be heavy at times. We could get some thunder snow between now and later on tonight. Now, most of the snow in the mountains and foothills will fall before sunrise tomorrow morning. After sunrise, daylight, very high sun angle, roads melt off very, very quickly. Snowfall totals here in the foothills, 5 to 10 inches. Higher mountains, certainly up in Summit County, Clear Creek County, you get above 10,000 feet where very few people live. You can get upwards of 2 feet of snow. So a late, mid-spring snowstorm, not that unusual. Remember, March and April are the snowiest months in this part of Colorado, so it's not that unusual. Last year we covered one in May, a week before Memorial Day. So Mike Bettis, here comes the graupel once again, bouncing all over the place. Some of those earlier were the size of garden peas, and eventually we'll see that change over to snow, and then it will start adding up. The biggest issue on the roadways after sundown tonight as temperatures head to and below freezing and until sunrise tomorrow morning.
All right, Mike, thanks for the update there. We'll see how things unfold here over the next few hours. Mike Seidel for us here in Central City, Colorado. At the same time we're watching for severe weather, we're also watching for winter weather. Want to get right now to meteorologist Mike Seidel. He's in Central City, about a 45-minute drive outside of Denver. Mike, what's happening right now?
Right now, we're still getting some light precipitation and maybe some light rain, still some graupel. Let me take you back to about 30 minutes ago. This is graupel, which came down some pretty good showers, about as heavy as I've seen graupel before, and it can happen above freezing. You know, it can snow above freezing. Right now, it's 41 degrees. It has stopped, basically, and everything's melted. But the big enchilada, the snowstorm doing here later on this afternoon through sunrise tomorrow morning, 5 to 10 inches here in the foothills, upwards of 2 feet in the highest elevations in the Front Range Rockies. So we have all that into the mix. The winter storm warning goes until noon tomorrow. Denver, mostly rain, and no surprise, no canceled flights at DIA on the board for tomorrow.
Meteorologist Mike Seidel is about 40 miles to the west of Denver in Central City, Colorado. Beautiful spot right there, and we know those 40 miles going to make a big difference between what you get from Denver to where you are, Mike.
Yeah, it's all about the elevation, and I'm looking at the Denver Ob now, and they're seeing a tornado out there in Weld County. There's a warning out for a few more minutes, so they're seeing a tornado. It's about 15 or 20 miles as a crow flies out to where they're seeing that tornado. Meanwhile, that gives you an indication of the big difference in the air masses. It's been in the low 60s at DIA, now 57. Up here at 8,500 feet in Central City, it is now down to 36 degrees. Thus, nothing is sticking. We started off with graupel about an hour or so ago. Temperatures are at 43, 44, so it's quickly dropping. Visibility has dropped too. We're looking up towards the hillsides, getting a little bit fuzzy up there here above Main Street and the casinos here in this very bucolic town, a national, it's on the National Register of Towns. It's just a great city. Their peak season, by the way, here is in the summertime. I mean, just the hiking and camping and just so much to do here. Ski season is continuing, by the way, so this is good for ski resorts. There are many more open this year than usual. unusual because of all the snowfall they've seen. By the way, down in Denver, they've had about 60 inches, and that's really where they should be for the entire season. It's been up in the higher elevations like Aspen, like Breckenridge. Aspen's had over, 400 and change inches, about 100 inches above average. So the snow is going to add up, especially once it gets dark, and especially once the temperature drops below freezing. So that's when the roads are going to get a bit iffy here in the foothills, and again, I-70 up towards the tunnel. If you're on the other side of the Continental Divide, not looking for a whole lot of snow, but here we're looking for 5 to 10 inches. Higher mountain peaks, you get up 8, 9, 10,000 feet like at Berthoud Pass. Keep an eye on those passes, Berthoud Pass and Loveland Pass, for driving overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. Some spots could get 2 feet of snow in those highest elevations. But down here where most people live, like in Georgetown and the Netherland area, and also Idaho Springs, we're looking at 5 to 10 inches. Once the sun comes up tomorrow morning, once we get daylight, the roads that haven't already melted off from clearing and, you know, a melting product like salt will melt off very quickly because of the sun angle. And temperatures even here tomorrow afternoon will be back to 40. No indication we'll have any major impacts at Denver International, Chris, because mostly rain down there tomorrow. No cancellations on the board. We'll see how it all stacks up tonight. Most of the snow will fall after dark and before sunrise tomorrow morning. Not that unusual in April. Last year, Chris, we were out here the week before Memorial Day, and we had 10 inches in Winter Park. That's a little bit more unusual than here in the third week of April.
All right, but it is the time of year people are starting to look for more sun and warmer temperatures and flowers. Thank you so much, meteorologist Mike Seidel.
And just west of Denver in Central City is where we find our own meteorologist Mike Seidel. He is in Central City, Colorado, west of Denver. Mike, how have things changed this afternoon?
Well, we got here around lunchtime, and it was beautiful. The sun was out, a lot of blue skies. Temperatures were in the mid-40s. And then about an hour and a half ago, clouded up, we started with a couple of really nice heavy-duty grapple showers. That ended. All the grapple melted, and now we've changed over to snow. Our temperature has gone from the mid-40s down into the mid-30s. It's very light snow, and as you well know, nothing is going to stick with the sun angle, and certainly with temperatures above freezing. The roads are just wet, just a light snow. Visibility has come back up now. About half an hour ago, it was snowing a bit harder, a bit fuzzier up there on the hillsides above Central City. Foothills, that's where we are. We're at 8,500 feet. If you're watching us from the areas around Evergreen and points up above 75 feet, we're looking at 5 to 10 inches of snow falling mostly tonight, ending by about sunrise tomorrow morning. It's going to be tonight when temperatures fall below freezing and we lose the daylight that we have the issues with the roadways. Tomorrow, though, the roads will clean up very, very nicely. Not expecting any issues with wintry weather down in Denver, which is good news. Meanwhile, we'll keep you updated as the snow intensity picks up here from Central City in the foothills here west of Denver. Stay with us here on the Weather Channel throughout this evening.
There to document it for us, meteorologist Mike Seidel, about 40 miles west of Denver in the snow right now. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Chris, and the snow is picking up in intensity as expected. Our temperatures dropped down to 33, just 1 degree above freezing. But the real key is when we see the sunset in a few hours and we lose the radiation from this very potent late April sun angle. Not sticking on the concrete or the asphalt, but we'll have Chris Erickson pan past the signs here in the light. And notice that SUV over there starting to get covered with snow. You can see some snow sticking to the asphalt and steps over there. So it is sticking on the surfaces that don't like suck up the radiation, and that ends up melting the snow. If this was January, well, we wouldn't have, it would be sticking. Probably be colder too. And there you go. So it makes a big difference as you get into April, certainly May. Sun angle right now is like mid-August. As far as the forecast goes, it is all about elevation. Above 7,500 feet where we are here in Central City, it's about 8,500 feet. So we're expecting 5 to 10 inches of snowfall. Not that unusual in mid to late April, even in the Front Range. But the Front Range, it's going to be mostly rain. We've had severe weather today. Temperatures topped out in the low 60s in Denver. And then as you get above above, say, about 9,000 feet, where very few people actually live, that's where you'll have the higher totals of 1 to 2 feet. You can pan past me and look at the hills above Main Street here in Central City. Notice it's hard to see the top of the ridge there, so the visibility is down about a mile, I'd say, mile and a half. So this is still light snow, but the intensity is expected to pick up. We could get some thunder snow. It's been very convective. We did have some lightning earlier north of here in Nederland, and that's only about 10, 12 miles away as a crow flies. So, Chris, we're underway here. It's all about darkness and temperatures getting below freezing, and then tomorrow, once we get daylight, things will melt off very quickly on the roadways, as highs here will hit 40 and getting up close to about 48 or 50 down in Denver. Not expecting any major issues, really few issues at all in and out of DIA tomorrow because of the lack of snow and the fact that the sun will come out.
Meteorologist Mike Seidel, thank you so much. With a nice reminder, it's spring in Colorado.
That's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel standing for us in Central City, Colorado, where at last check the snow is really coming down. Boy, have things changed, Mike. The flakes are also a lot bigger.
Yes, the temperature is still borderline as far as sticking. It's 33 degrees, and with the daylight this time of the year, it's not going to stick even at 31 or 32, but it is sticking in some spots across the way on the sidewalk and over there in that parking lot. And up in the trees, they're getting a nice dusting. They got one last night, got some snow showers, but we're going to get a whole lot more than last night. We're expecting here in the foothills where we are anywhere from 5 to 10 inches, and you get higher up above 9,000. The higher peaks of the Front Range Rockies, the ones facing east, as much as 2 feet, like at Berthoud Pass and Loveland Pass. Talk about thunder snow, we could see some of that. We've had some lightning earlier. Now the lightning is confined primarily to the lower elevations around the Boulder area, around Golden, where anything that falls here will be rain right now. They'll get some mixing in overnight and tomorrow. Denver as a whole will be mostly rain, but with the weather they've had so far today, they've had 61 flight cancellations. That's not many. 3% of their total rundown for the day. Most of those were Southwest flight.
And in Colorado is where meteorologist Mike Seidel is located, about 40 miles west of Denver. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Chris, I want to compare what's going on in Denver. We're about an hour west of DIA, and what's going on here. There's the tower cam from Denver. They've had some rain and thunder this afternoon. They've dropped from 62 down to 44, 18-degree drop. Now, tonight and tomorrow morning early, it will be cold enough for some snow to mix in, but we're not expecting any real impacts there. It's going to be all up here in the foothills, in the mountains. Snow has lightened up, but we had a pretty good burst. Let me show you how much we've had so far. Obviously, a heavy wet snow because the temperature now at 33. It started snowing at about 36, 37. So you can see right here is about an inch. Metal surfaces, wood surfaces, grass, car tops, but not these surfaces because, well, one thing, temperature's above freezing, and secondly, we still have daylight. Sun angle very high this time of the year. It's like mid-August. So tomorrow the same rule applies. Once we get daylight, things will improve dramatically. Like over here, the road has actually slushed up a little bit from the heavy snow, but now it's melting because the snow intensity is backed off. But look at the sidewalk, and then look over there on the hill. Just a very pretty picture when you have the wet snow. You do get the stickage at nearly 100%, and when you get good stickage, it's a good photo op. We'll have some good photo ops certainly as we get daylight tomorrow morning, because we're looking for 5 to 10 inches of snow here in the foothills, generally above 7,500 feet, and as much as 2 feet, as Chris mentioned, up on those mountaintops, like where we were yesterday at the pass, at Berthoud Pass at over 11,000 feet. Then temperatures tomorrow afternoon will be in the 40s to near 50, and we'll see things melt off very nicely. Could be some more snow here Thursday night. Meanwhile, it's going to be a warmer Wednesday and Thursday. By the way, Thursday, Denver heads back towards 70. Looks like a great weekend in the Mile High City with highs around 70 and plenty of sunshine. So, Chris, that's the way it goes in April. And even in May up here in the mountains, it snows, but it doesn't stick around too long. Although right now there's plenty of snow. The ski resorts, many are open later than they've been in a while. Many ski resorts, check ahead, are open every day from roughly 9 to 4.
Not a bad deal here if you're into that spring skiing there, Mike. Thank you so much.